The Alchemist is about a boy who grows up wanting to be a traveler. He wants to see what the world has to offer outside of the countryside where he lives. It's the story of a boy who journeys for a long time across different places to pursue his personal goals in life. Along the way, he falls in love, makes new friends, and learns new things. He also encounters misadventures and misfortunes but learns what he's capable of because of them. As a result of his recurring dreams of a hidden treasure in a faraway land, he embarked on a journey in which he discovers the true purpose of his life. He learns about the reasons why one must persist when it comes to their dreams and not give up easily despite obstacles. Santiago grew up in a small village where his family has spent their whole lives farming for sustenance and survival. As his family were farmers, they made Santiago study to become a priest because they believed it to be more respectable for the family. However, Santiago has known since he was young that all he really wants out of life is to travel the world. After turning 16, Santiago finally told his father about his dream of becoming a traveler. His father thought it to be a terrible idea, and he told Santiago that travelers basically take or learn nothing from all their travels in the end, that they're never satisfied because there's always a better place or a better time. It wouldn't have mattered what his father said since Santiago's mind was already made up. His father could see that and therefore conceded to his decision and gave him some money to purchase sheep, for the only people in their village who traveled were shepherds. That is how Santiago became a shepherd instead of a priest, altering his entire future. For 2 years, Santiago spent most of his time wandering with his flock of sheep. He knew everything about his sheep, down to the well-being and behavior of each one. He would read to them and talk to them about everything, believing that they understood him. Santiago met new people and seen new castles by selling the wool off of his sheep. On one such occasion, while he was waiting to sell wool, he met the daughter of a merchant. They started talking and hours passed before they knew it. The boy realized that he didn't want the conversation to end, for he was falling in love for the very first time. Alas, her father finally appeared and it was time for business. He loved traveling because each day entailed new experiences, and he knew that people wouldn't have expectations for how he should live because he never stayed long enough. Throughout his travels, he never forgot the merchant's daughter. Santiago was reading a book when an old man appeared and started conversing with him. He asked Santiago about the book he was reading. When the old man heard the title, he said it was an annoying book because it pushes the belief that human beings aren't capable of deciding what they want to achieve. Santiago told the old man that he chose his own life, that he would have been a priest if he had left it up to fate. In reply, the old man told him that he would help Santiago find his treasure in exchange for his sheep. Santiago was filled with doubt and thought this was probably a scam. He was about to leave when the old man wrote something on the sand. The boy couldn't believe his eyes, for written there on the sand was everything about his life, including the things that he has never shared with another soul. The old man was actually a king, and he came to Santiago because the young boy was at a crossroads. He had the option to pursue his personal legend or quit. The old man couldn't let that happen. After all, it was his role to appear in people's lives in various shapes and sizes to aid them in moving forward with their personal legend and to ensure they didn't give up. The old man told the boy to bring him some of his sheep. In return, he would help Santiago pursue the treasure he dreamed about. Santiago pondered for a long time about whether he should stick to what he knows or go for something entirely new. At last, he decided that doing something different was what made life interesting. He prepared the sheep for the old man, and his friend purchased the remainder. The boy thought it such a lucky thing, but the old man told him it was really the principle of favorability. When people are on the pursuit of their personal legend, the world wants them to succeed, so it'll let things go in their favor. At the very start of Santiago's pursuit of his personal legend, he met a man who cheated him of all of his money. As he had none left to continue on his journey, he decided to work for a crystal merchant. The merchant and Santiago both wanted to make money, the former so he could go to Mecca and the latter so he could buy sheep. Santiago had great ideas for improvements around the store, and the business flourished over time. That's when the two men realized that they were very different from one another. The merchant was fine with his way of life and content with the way things were going. He was happy to dream about what he could one day do, knowing full well that he would never actually do them. Santiago wanted more out of life. He thought he was working to save money to go home and return to his life as a shepherd, but when the time came for him to do so, he realized that he really still wanted to pursue his personal legend and seek the treasure from his recurrent dream. When human beings are still young, they tend to be more free and reckless with their thoughts and ambitions. They have a crazy list of things they would like to achieve in life, and they're happy to go on adding more. However, they tend to stop dreaming or believing when they grow older because they slowly but surely feel like it won't be possible to achieve any single one of these foolish ideas after all. Perhaps something bad happens somewhere along the line, and that makes them believe they don't have what it takes to accomplish their goal. In reality, any bad incident that occurs is really just a guide to push individuals to uncover and pursue their personal legend. A human being's personal legend is the most important thing in the world because it's what they are really in existence for. It's what the universe wants to guide them towards accomplishing. Santiago had the same dream 2 times in a row. He grew frustrated, for he always woke up before the dream ended. He decided to try his luck with a dream interpreter, for dreams were exciting to Santiago. There, he explained that he dreamed of a child telling him to visit the Egyptian pyramids to uncover a treasure. However, he always woke up before she could show him exactly where the treasure is located. Once he finished explaining, the interpreter was quiet. She no longer wanted payment for the consultation. Instead, she wanted a portion of whatever he found. When he agreed, she advised him to take the child's advice if he wants to become rich. When he asked how he should pursue this, the interpreter said she could analyze dreams but not make them happen. Santiago felt that the interpreter was trying to trick him and that the session was fruitless. He felt foolish for thinking that the dream had any meaning and thought it better not to take dreams seriously anymore. Santiago met the alchemist at the oasis. The alchemist told him that he needed to continue on with his pursuit, despite falling in love or the ongoing war. Santiago wanted to stay for Fatima, but the alchemist dissuaded him from doing so. Santiago's personal legend was to head for the treasure, and it would always haunt him that he didn't follow through if he chose to stay. Moreover, all the things in the universe that conspired to guide him towards that personal legend will eventually disappear, for he was no longer on the path. The boy continued on his journey with the guidance of the alchemist. The alchemist told him it was through action that he could learn best and to learn to listen to his heart. Santiago didn't think this was wise, for his heart always told him several different things at once. It was full of worry, fear, and varying desires. The alchemist advised him to listen and follow his heart, because that will be his true guide, and if he doesn't, his heart will eventually stop speaking its true desires. At the oasis, Santiago fell in love with a woman named Fatima. From the moment he met her, he knew instantly that he wanted to marry the girl. He confessed his love and told her about his pursuit of the treasure. Santiago admitted that at first, he had resented the war that prevented his journey, but that it caused him to meet Fatima, and he was grateful. As the war in the desert went on, Santiago became convinced he should just stay there in the oasis. Fatima disagreed with this decision. Knowing everything that he has shared with her, she wanted him to fulfill his personal legend no matter how long it took him. She believed that if they were really meant to be, that he would return to her someday. Santiago couldn't understand this, for he had grown up in a place where husbands had a tough time explaining their need to leave, and wives never wanted their husbands to go. It was different there with Fatima, where she had faith in him, where love sets you free to accomplish your life goals. Along with guides and several other companions, Santiago continued on his journey towards the Egyptian pyramids where the treasure was supposedly located. During the journey, a war between tribes broke out in the desert, and they had to wait it out at the oasis. The oases were safe spaces populated mostly by women and children, where no weapons or soldiers were allowed. Santiago had a vision during his time there that men would invade the oasis despite the agreement that oases were untouchable in times of war. He notified the tribal chieftains regarding his vision. The chieftains were untrusting, for Santiago was a stranger in their land. After several hours of discussion, they decided to give Santiago the benefit of the doubt that he would be rewarded if his vision came true and punished otherwise. Santiago was startled that he might have to pay with his life, but he felt content with his life decisions to date. In the end, an army did indeed attack the oasis, but the men there were prepared. Santiago was rewarded with gold and a position as the oasis's counselor. Santiago continued on the rest of his journey to seek for the treasure on his own, following only his heart. When he finally arrived and witnessed the pyramids of Egypt, the boy was filled with such great gratitude to the point of tears. A group of men interrupted his digging for treasure and started beating him, wanting his treasure. Before leaving, one of the men told Santiago that he too had recurring dreams that he would find treasure in a specific location in Spain, but that he never wasted his time on it. Santiago knew exactly where the place was. Santiago had journeyed for years and experienced so much while seeking for this treasure. He had worked at a crystal shop and at the oasis. He had made new friends, seen new places, learned new things, and fallen in love with a woman, only to discover that the treasure was buried in the church where he had been with his sheep at the start. It was the place where he had the dream about the treasure. In the end, his personal legend was just to experience the journey itself.